and I know that I'm going to be asked this, since I already reviewed Raging Blast, I won't be included in this marathon, so you want to know my thoughts about it, click on the card on top. But I already did a video on Raging Blast 2, if I'm being honest here, it's actually still a pretty good video, barring the audio problems in the later half.
Now onto the customization. Customization is way too limited, at least compared to the last game. You only have 10 slots to put attacks in, and it's also limit points. The amount of points they gave you are way too low.
The game also has a decent soundtrack, but unfortunately, it would change in the HD collection. I'm sure most Budokai fans already know this, but the man who composed the original Budokai trilogy's soundtrack, Kenji Yamamoto, got into trouble for plagiarism, and this won't be the last time something like this happens. But I'll go into that in the Raging Blast 2 video. He plagiarized from artists like Black Sabbath, Earth, Wind & Fire, Stradivarius. I'm pretty sure he even stole a song from a Spider-Man game on the N64 of all things. But, what? This is also how you unlock the only Blue Saga exclusive character in the game, the Great Saiyaman. Okay. You gotta complete tournament mode on the hardest difficulty with every character, and after only like 11 or 12 attempts, I want to say, after doing this, I was like, yeah, this is fucking impossible. The only problem I have with the cutscenes in this game is that even though they cut down on all the fillers so the story's more streamlined, I feel like that made some of the pacing in some of the scenes a little bit too fast. For example, the scene where Gohan goes Super Saiyan 2, you remember how atmospheric and dramatic it was? Well here, everything just kinda happens at once. I mean, I get that maybe it's asking too much for the same kind of atmosphere like in the show, but I just can't help but notice how it's slapped together all it feels. And there's also how whenever a cutscene ends, the game always told you that you unlock a new move or a new character, and it's not too bad, but sometimes it gives off a severe tonal whiplash, because someone can just straight up die in a cutscene and it's immediately interrupted by, hey look, you got a new move, here's my combination how you use it, dipshit! And it happens after every single cutscene too. There's also a couple of mini-games so the story mode doesn't get too repetitive, like reflecting key blasts and chaining combos. But while on the topic of minigames, fuck this special Queen Cannon with minigame with Piccolo. You gotta keep Raditz in the middle before the counter runs out, but it's so hard to do because I either go too far left or too far right, or sometimes he just doesn't move at all. This took me way longer than it should have. This one can eat a dick too. It's so goddamn precise on how you clash with your opponents. It's damn near frame perfect. For most of the story, you fight as Goku and sometimes Gohan, but once you finish the story, you can go back and play as the other characters, but that's only if you're not tired of getting your ass handed to, because Dragon Ball Z Budokai has some of the most advanced AI of the 2000s, because I was getting my ass beat through the entire story mode. Okay, it's so easy to get into, but this game has some of the most steepest difficulty curves I've ever experienced in a video game, and it only gets worse from here on out, but we'll get there when we get there. I especially hate it whenever I almost beat my opponent, but then I lose a match because of a cheap shot, and so now I gotta do it all over again. And whenever that happens, I just feel like... But there are some times where people can just be overacting. Most people who play Budokai always bring up the soundtrack borrows some of the songs from the first game, but its original songs are really good. My favorites are the opening theme, and I want jazz theme that plays over in the Dragon World. Like, I just want to dance my ass off every time I hear it. It's basically this game's story mode, but with none of the cool cutscenes from the first game. The story also goes up to the Buu Saga now, which is pretty cool though. You're not only fighting other people in this mode, you can use the Dragon Radar to collect Dragon Balls, heal your characters when they're low on health, upgrade your defense and offense, and get more caps to lock characters, skills, and more stages to get skill. Am I playing Budokai or Super Mario Sunshine?
Hey, it's me, Goku!
Budokai 2 story mode also seems to have the same difficulty curves that Budokai 1 story mode had. Honestly, it might be even worse here, just because of one fight. This fucking fight with Kid Buu. I spent at least 1 hour trying to beat this pig bubblegum cocksucker, and I lost 2 characters before I could finally beat him. This one battle alone caused me more frustration and anger than anything in Budokai 1. Yeah, even the Cell fight. Like, the AI in this fight is so broken. Like, it's like no matter how many times it looks like I can catch him off guard, this motherfucker is always blocking my moves, and I swear the battle was rigged for the AI to win because it feels like they can always block my attacks, but I can never block their attacks or I don't have enough time to dodge. Not only that, but the melee attacks are so crazy, and the AI is always spamming that goddamn vanishing ball. This is also where I found out how janky the hitboxes and invincibilities in this game can be, because what happened there? I hit the dude and I still got hit. Like, what's going on? I swear at this point, I was so close to just snapping my controller and having just calling it a fucking day. Really, when I looked at people beating Kid Buu on their first time, most of them used Goten of all people, and they were doing better than I was. I also really love the soundtrack. I really get a kick out of the opening theme, even though some parts of it kind of reminds me of Battle of Omega from Raging Blast 2.
But I want it now!
After the success of Budokai, you would expect them to keep the momentum going, right? We would get spin-offs like Infinite World, Shin Budokai game on PSP, and Burst Limit, which is the next game we're going to be looking at after this, but besides that, the Budokai series just kind of disappeared after Budokai 3, but if we're being real here, Tenkaichi was always the more popular between these two series. But in 2005, the first entry in the new series was released, Dragon Ball Z, Sparking. I remember first playing this game and thinking that the intro looked really cool, and it actually still is. I think this is the first Dragon Ball game to have an intro that's completely animated in CGI, and I think they did a pretty good job. All the characters are animated really well, and the action scenes are pretty good too. I really love the sound effects when the characters are fighting, and the way they're animated too. The punches look and feel like they have an impact, and they actually look like they're fighting instead of just playing happy slaps. But that's just the animation. The overall look of this intro is fucking ugly. Like, this might have looked good in 2005, but when you look at them now, especially when the sequels have better looking intros, it just doesn't look that good. I think it's just a glossy look. Everyone looks like they're action figures, and Goku Vegeta's hair look like they're made out of plastic. But I won't be too harsh since it was the first CG animated intro in the Dragon Ball game. I'm sure that people's favorite parts were at the end where Goku and Vegeta were smiling at each other. I swear he's just giving each other the fucking eyes. Like, I know people always joke about how these two act like an old married couple in the Buu Saga and GT, but this is literally just after an argument and when they're about to fuck. Also, was Frieza's powered up form that buff, or am I just remembering that wrong? So like I said in the last video, I'm going to be emulating these three games like I did with Budokai, and again, I do have a copy of Tenkaichi 1 on PS2, and you're probably wondering why I'm not playing this game via this way.
A few moments later.
There's your answer. Yeah, I consider Tenkaichi 1 to have first game syndrome too. I'll give it this, it has more defensive options than Budokai 1, but it's not a lot of good offensive options because a lot of the matches I play would end up like this. Here it's called Dragon Battle Gate, which is where you get to relive some of the moments from the Dragon Ball franchise, from Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT, and even some of the movies too.
It's Gotenks!
You! I remember you! You're the one I pounded earlier!
Hey, boy, ain't no fucking way, boy.
What is bad is the enemy AI. Sometimes it ranges from being brain dead to somehow being so good to the point where you can barely get one hit in. What is it with all the Dragon Ball games and their sword modes being so bullshit? Let's talk about the fact that they already have more key energy than you, so if they start off the match and hit you with a super attack, which you can't dodge, you have to block or tank it, which is a terrible idea. Or they can just start off key blast spamming since you're not already locked onto your opponent from the start of the match, and that's just to add insult to injury. Then there's the fact that the damage output in some of these fights are just... Like, am I even making any progress, bro? Like, what's going on? And I get that some of these fights were pretty unbalanced when they show, like, Vegeta versus Kid Buu or Tien versus Nappa. But that doesn't mean shit when my most powerful attacks barely take a third of the CPU's health. But theirs can do more than 3/4 of my health. Like, what kind of shit is that? I don't care what anybody says, that's not fun. I'm not enjoying the fact that I have played through a fight 25 times just because the CPU is way overpowered. It makes me want to punch a hole through my fucking computer screen every time I lose. Like, if they're gonna do that, why can't they just make the player do just as much damage as the computer? Or at the very least, if they're gonna make the power scaling a thing in the fights, why not just let me play as the villains then? And someone else from the dev team thought that it would have been an amazing idea to give these guys super armor. It wasn't bad enough that my attacks barely do anything. Now they don't even phase them. Whoever did that, I hope you get fired. Look, I don't really wish death upon people, but fuck you, man, seriously. They did it again. Why do they keep on making Frieza's shoulders so massive? So I mentioned before that this game and Tenkaichi 3 had a Wii port, and they're pretty much the same game. But now you can use motion controls to fight. Okay, that's a little bit unfair. I haven't really played the Wii version of this game, so I can't really say anything, but I have heard the motion controls aren't too bad. And even then, they're optional, so you can play with a classic controller and either GameCube controller too. But if you still want to use the motion controls, then I don't know, think about like Wii boxing.
Oh yeah, I'm punching the fucking air again. Let me just do the Y fucking MCA. YMCA.
The formula has been pretty much left untouched from the first game, but it's not only giving a lot of offensive options, but a lot more defensive options too, so matches don't turn into. So before I get into the fighting mechanics, let me just say this. You're not getting a physical copy of this game. I repeat, you are not getting a physical copy of this game. Like, I know this is a good game and all, but I'm not paying this much for it though. Even trying to get just the disc costs half as much as the new Nintendo Switch. You might as well just emulate it, which hopefully YouTube doesn't clap me off the platform for running this, but you'll be saving yourself a decent $300. Then there's a Z counter, which requires you to damn near perfect this game to manage to do this at every chance that you get. You gotta make sure that everything is perfectly timed, and if you mess up on one pixel, then you're countering nothing. And this mechanic is so precise with the timing because I've never gotten one Z counter the entire time I've been playing this game, and even if I had, it was probably by accident. It's kind of like parrying in Third Strike or Smash Ultimate, but in those games you can just spam shield and you'll eventually perfectly block the attack. Here, there's a lot more skill and timing required. Like, when I see shit like this, I still feel like I got a lot to learn about this game and how it works, but that's kind of what I like about this game. So yeah, there's not a lot of new mechanics in this game, but these new inclusions make the combat so much more fascinating and frantic than ever.
This dude did a 10-hit combo. This dude's doing strings. Wow. Oh my god. Wow. This motherfucker is garbage.
This level helps because this game has probably one of, if not the biggest roster of characters in any fighting game, with over 150 characters including transformations. It's spanning through all of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT, which means you can play as Kid Goku, Mercenary Tao, Chi-Chi, Grandpa Gohan, Baby, Omega Shenron, Oob, and even Maju, who probably has the worst pulse in the game though.
This is it!
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Now we have the character reference, which is pretty much an encyclopedia for all the characters, where you see all their information and view their 3D models. We also have Chi-Chi sharing her opinions about most of the characters too.
This is Master Roshi when he's serious. First time I've ever seen this. Hope his pervertedness doesn't power up. Oh, don't tell me that he'll shave his eyebrows. Blech. For that good-looking face to become so dreadful. I have no interest in the differences of a Super Saiyan, but those muscles are incredible.
I think the graphics look pretty good though. The only real downside on menu screens, they're good, but a little bit of downgrade from Tenkaichi 3 and maybe even Budokai 3. I don't really like the orange color of the backgrounds, but the character arts look pretty good though. Bulma though kinda just looks kinda off. The voice actors do a pretty good job, but I feel like I can say the same thing for any other Dragon Ball game. But the only problem I have with the voice acting isn't even the voice acting itself, but an error from the game does. Imperfect Cell in the cutscene sounds exactly like his normal self in the gameplay. When he's grunting or yelling, they use the voice hooks for Perfect Cell.
I guess I've become just too strong. See you around!
The cutscenes are pretty much the best part of the story mode since they're animated pretty close to the show, but sometimes the way they're animated are pretty inconsistent because sometimes the animation is pretty good, but then other times they'll like being animated on Source Filmmaker, and that's disrespectful to Source Filmmaker.
It'll reduce the Earth to space dust! Kaioken times 4! Die, Vegeta!
Well, that was a load of shit.
I will show you the true form of autonomous Ultra. It's my turn, yes.
Change everything, then!
Do this thing!
This is stop you!
I will defeat you!
Don't think you can win!
There's no way to beat me this.
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. Woo!
And while I think that is pretty cool that this game is a lot more faster than the first game, I can't help but feel like this can make the combat in this game feel a little bit shallow. I kind of feel like there's a little bit less of a skill gap to get used to. I mean, it's better than having one button do all the combos or just having the gameplay itself for you. Oh, wow. Oh. But I don't know, I feel like Raging Blast 1 kind of does a little bit better job on the combat, since it feels like it's harder to master there. I mean, the fighting in this game might be a little bit too easy, but at least it's better than... But there's also some weird jank here, like for some reason Gohan keeps calling everyone Piccolo.
Okay, time for some practice.
All right, Piccolo.
It's been a while, wanna spar?
All right, Piccolo.
And Goku really loves saying his name and that he's from Earth.
You're Kakarot? My name is Goku, and I'm from Earth.
Kakarot, you disgraced all Saiyans.
My name is Goku, and I'm from Earth. How dare you defy your brother? My name is Goku, and I'm from Earth.
Thankfully, you don't have to understand every character's galaxy mode to unlock every character. Just getting to the boss mission is good enough, and you don't even need to beat all the boss missions to unlock every character either. But if you want to go the extra mile, you can, but what you unlock isn't really worth it. Oh, you want to know what it is? Okay, it's just a video with Battle Omega playing in the background.
That's it? That's the last episode? That was just a bunch of cheap walk cycles! What a rip! SpongeBob betrayed us!
I mean, I guess that's kind of cool, but it's just not really worth it because of how long, arduous, and honestly kind of infuriating it is to fully complete Galaxy mode. I don't know, do you at least get a trophy for completing it all? Let me check. Oh, you do. And the opening Battle Omega, oh my god, let me tell you something. This is one of the greatest Dragon Ball songs that had ever been composed for a series. I don't care if Kenji Yamamoto plagiarized this shit, this is still one of my favorite Dragon Ball songs ever. Like the vocals, the tempo, the guitar, just everything about it just screams.
This is...
Quick side note, but a lot of Dragon Ball voice actors voice a lot of One Piece characters, and I know it's because both series are localized like Funimation, but at the same time, it's not like they try to alter the voices or anything. Like Gohan, Luffy, Chaozu's Chopper, Krillin's Usopp, and Trunks and Vegeta are literally just Zoro and Sanji.
Get ready, father, I won't hold back!
Do what you like.
That little bastard's about to eat us out of house and home! And booze! Oh, hell no!
Like, it's crazy to me how these two had the same voice actors. Like, could you imagine these two characters actually met?
This has to stop, Dad! You're making a huge mistake! What if Cell's power ends up being too much for us? What happens then? I could do so much good with it. Use it to protect new girls! No, I mean, I could help all mankind and new girls! No, I had this beautiful vision of the future and new girls!
Let's start off with the smallest stuff first. To start off, I really don't like this game's graphical art style, and no, I'm not saying that because I don't like this game. I'm saying it because it just looks way too rough, and it looks like they try way too hard to be realistic, but it just doesn't work. I don't know why people say that characters in Raging Blast 2 look like action figures, but honestly they look way worse than Ultimate Tenkaichi in comparison. Everybody looks like they have dirt all over their bodies. What's up with the Super Saiyan's hair? Why do it look like underripe bananas? And just look at the Saiyan's hair in base form. It looks fucking horrible. I mean, I guess the auras and beams look good, but that's kind of the given for most Dragon Ball games, so yeah. It's not much in the way of memorable music. I can really only remember the song that plays in the title screen, and a couple of songs that play in the story mode missions, but that's it. And while I'm talking about the audio, this game's audio mixing is dog shit. Like, when you put the game in your system, you're immediately greeted with this.
You're finished now!
It's a spirit bomb, and you're gonna eat it!
I mean, the song isn't bad, like, it sounds decent. Too bad I won't be able to appreciate it with my ears bleeding. As for the voice acting, it's fine, but I sort of recycled some lines from Raging Blast. And it's even more obvious since that was the last Dragon Ball game to use the original Funimation voice actors. Shit, they even used the lines from different voice actors in the same scene.
How about we stop warming up and start the real battle?
Fine with me.
Where would you prefer to fight, in the sky or on the ground?
Probably the ground.
Like, they really couldn't ask the new voice actors to dub over those lines. And there's also the fact that voice lines can overlap each other when a cutscene plays in the middle of a voice clip.
You're not bad. You're the first person to ever cause me starting to get annoyed with besides my parents.
That's pretty much it when it comes to everything that you do with this game, man. But, like, there's nothing wrong with this game. Like, it's perfectly fine. It functions, and there's nothing broken about it. It's just that it's just so fucking boring. Oh my god, this game will allow you to do some of the most repetitive and monotonous shit that you'll ever do in a fighting game. Like you look at the word mindless in the dictionary, you'll see Ultimate Tenkaichi right there. Here's what the average match of Ultimate Tenkaichi looks like. Like, that's it. That's all she wrote. I hear a lot of people say that the characters in Tenkaichi 3 are just copy and pasted from each other, to which I say, are you fucking serious? Have you played Ultimate Tenkaichi? Matter of fact, no, you probably haven't, because why the fuck would we want to play Ultimate Tenkaichi? Like, I know some of you guys might be thinking that I'm being way too harsh in this game, but let me just say that this game got so boring so fast, I legit fell asleep while recording footage. Like, that's never happened to me before. Like, maybe that's just me, but if your game is so boring that it causes people to fall asleep, I feel like somewhere along the line you failed. And the sad part is that the recording session I fell asleep in was longer than my other 2 sessions combined. Like, I cannot stress enough how boring this game is. So that just leads up to the second game we're going to look at for this video. Dragon Ball Z Battle Z, which is honestly a pretty stupid name, I would call it. Dragon Ball Z Dragon Fight. I just want to start off by saying the copy of this game that I ordered off of eBay, top part of the case seems to be broken off, and I can't really tell you why. Somehow this man to survive what happened to the case, and that's really what I'm more worried about, but now it's going to look all awkward looking in my collection. Now, I remember hearing about this game when about a year after it first came out, and after hearing that we had the Battle of the God characters in this game, I was actually interested. Then I saw the game played, and I immediately lost interest. So in past videos, I kind of lumped this game along with Ultimate Tenkaichi and Xenoverse 1 as one of the bad games in the Dragon Ball game lineup, but, you know, I actually haven't played this game until now, so, you know, I'm gonna try to give this game like at least a fair chance, because, you know, after going through Ultimate Tenkaichi, can this game be any worse? So then I start the first mission and ew! This game looks ugly. Like, I know I said I didn't like Ultimate Tenkaichi's graphical style, but I would really call this an improvement.
Hey Ish, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm just playing Dragon Ball Xenoverse.
Oh, alright.
What?
Nothing, it's just that the game has worse difficulty progression than a Souls game.
Well, I just finished the Saiyan Saga and so far it's pretty comfortable, plus I beat it hard to game before.
Alright, just thought I should tell you, man. Have fun.
Alright, what do you say, man? It's glad it's a game.
Hey Ish, how's the game going? Well, shit.
Let me introduce Josh.
Bro, how did you get into my house?
So let's talk about these games. So Dragon Ball Xenoverse.
Xenoverse 1 starts off with Trunks wishing for a hero to come save the timeline because he can't really do anything in this game. After doing that, he decides to just ambush you to test your skills. I mean, he wished for the hero from Shenron, but I guess he just doubted him. After that, he takes you to the Time Nest and shows you a scroll. Somehow Raditz has powered up and just kills both Goku and Piccolo.
Honestly, the only difference I see here is that Raditz just got smarter.
In the middle of the Namek Saga, you meet some of the people who are responsible for this, Towa and Mira. They threaten you while not moving their mouths, and then Mira fights you. Bring him to half health after he spams Omega Shenron's move, and the fight stops. Mira complains, but then Towa says they should have some more fun, and they leave. Trunks shows you that he's not only useless, but also stupid.
Towa. She's the little sister of Dabura, the Demon King. And Mira? He's a strong warrior that Towa created for her own purposes. Together, they are stealing energy, in the hopes of releasing the seal that contains the Demon Realm.
If the seal's released, what will happen?
the balance of this entire world will collapse. And not just this world, but the entire universe. Nothing will remain the same.
Oh no! Then they're horrible people!
You're a fucking idiot.
Later we found out that the main mastermind behind all this is Demigra the Demon God, which was actually foreshadowed earlier, so he doesn't completely come out of nowhere. He was stuck in the cracks of time before escaping there, and now he wants the Toki Toki bird so he can absorb all his power. Now we're going to the time where Beerus wants Earth, and this is followed by my favorite cutscene in this game.
No! That's horrible! He went to that time period?
Huh? Was that a dangerous era or something?
Ignorance sure is bliss, isn't it? How about I explain it to you? It's the time period when Beerus, the freaking god of destruction, went to Earth!
The god of destruction, Beerus? Is he that powerful?
Lord Beerus!
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Anyway, is this Lord Beerus really strong or something?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
Well, I think the overall writing and dialogue in this game is just straight up bad. Not bad as in so bad that it's good, bad as in just need a second draft. Some of the dialogue is good when they're just reciting lines from the show, but the original lines are just bad. A lot of times characters are just pointing out the obvious, or the pacing and the placement of the lines are just awkward as all hell. And they can get pretty repetitive when you're grinding or stuck on one specific mission. And just a word of advice, if you're playing a mission over and over again, go into the options menu and turn off the voices. And by the way, this game is infamous for having the voice audio and not matching the subtitles. It's so infamous that there's an entire section dedicated in the fan wiki for the subtitle issues.
I'll let you live for now.
You can use capsules to heal or buff yourself. You can also use Z-Souls, which are called Super Souls in this game, to buff your stats and give a random effect, but usually it's not worth it. Now here's a question. Have you ever wanted to be jumped? If so, then this is the perfect game for you. The fighting is the best part of this game when you're not having to fight 3 people at once. But so much of the story is just you getting jumped, or having to do 3 fights in a row with no checkpoints on 1 health bar. Your health bar also just looks ugly in this game, but that's a side note.
While story mode sounds relatively simple, it's actually pretty hard. Matter of fact, this is bar none the hardest Dragon Ball game I've ever played. Like, you thought Budokai 1 story mode was hard? This game makes Budokai 1 look like a playground. The thing about this game's story mode is that the pacing is just completely off. Some missions are long, some missions are short, some are really hard, the next one's gonna be easy. Things don't ramp up in difficulty as the game goes on, difficulty just shows up whenever it wants to. But let me tell you something, when the hard ones show up, they'll get so hard to the point where you just want to snap your controller in half. These missions either take too long to complete, have you fight CPUs with super armor, have annoying as fuck strategies to figure out, spam your ultimate attacks every 5 seconds, have useless teammates helping you out, or a combination of the problems I just mentioned, but that all pales in comparison to Demon God Demigra. Oh my god. The first phase isn't too bad, but when Trunks gets possessed by him, you have to fight them both at the same time, and they're jumping you again. You have to beat both of them, but then Demigra powers up and you have to fight him again, and if you die at any point, you need to start from the beginning, no checkpoints. With these conditions, you would have thought this was the final boss, but honestly, this should have been the final boss. This form Echo the Dolphin was way easier in comparison.
Alright, so first I have to fight 3 Cell Juniors with Tien and Yamcha. Seems simple, right? Well, Yamcha thinks he should die in about 2 minutes on half of your attempts. The Cell Juniors can also be annoying and fly around and constantly block, which wastes more time. What about Tien? I see Tien fight a 1v2 and still have over 80% of his health. Even on a good attempt, Yamcha will still have much less health than Tien. Oh, and of course, if the CPU dies, it's an automatic loss. Eventually, once you get past that, you have to do 1v3 against the Cell Juniors. I guess Trunks, Krillin, and Vegeta just aren't available. Trunks tells you that Goku has awakened his power. He can't even tell Goku and Gohan apart at this point. Oh, and by the way, you did not heal from the last battle. Sometimes the other Cell Juniors will spam Ki Blast towards you and you can't combo, so this fight can drag out and you will probably die here a couple of times. Alright, that's fine. Let's just start the fight at no checkpoints.
And that includes the story to an extent. So this game takes place 2 years after the events of the first game, and to get this out the real quick, how Xenoverse meshes with the main timeline is a little bit weird. Personally, I don't really care about the timeline placement, but in case anyone's interested, the Xenoverse series takes place 60 years after the end of GT. However, it takes up an offer to go to Kanton City to help fix the timeline problem after getting fucked up again. We found out that Toho and Mirror from the last game was no good, but instead of changing the timeline, they get different people from different time periods up them off, like Slug, Turles, and this mysterious fake Bardock. But the writing here is actually genuinely funny. I wasn't bursting out laughing, but moments like Beerus crashing out because Spring Tide at times cooking his shit is just hilarious.
Okay, no more fighting now. It's pudding time!
Hey, could I have one of those? I'm starved.
Help yourself.
Might you spare me a cup as well?
I can always send more if that isn't enough. That's why I made tons of it.
Pardon me for one moment. Did you say you made this pudding?
That's right, sure did.
My stomach! I can't move!
Oh dear, he's quite upset now. This won't do at all.
This game is just a better looking Xenoverse 1. The animation is just more fleshed out in the first game. There really isn't much to say. You can tell that the animators had a lot more confidence because they just add a lot more smaller things and just moments to the game. But other than that, not much to say. But there's one thing. They got the tri-beam correct! It's not a diamond, it's not a random yellow beam, it's a triangle, and it's glass colored. Well, it's mostly right.
All that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.
Yeah, that's cool and all, but seriously, how did you get into my house?
You left your front door open. So we're getting close to the end. This is very like, fuck.
Alright, that's all I should tell you, man. Have fun.
No, we gotta do it again. I burped in the middle of it.
God, dang, you ruined it.
You ruined it.
The game was released at Jumpfest 2017 and wasn't released until January 2018, which is a weird month to release a game on because the only thing that makes money in January is workout centers, and even then it's only for like 2 weeks. Like every fighting game, there's ranked and player matches. Ranked matches are for competitive play. You fight players around the world, and the more players you defeat, the more you rank up on the leaderboards. Then there's casual play where you just fight people for fun. There's no points to the game from beating your opponents, it's just for bragging rights. But I swear it's like an unspoken rule in fighting games that casual matches are somehow sweatier than ranked. Because most of the online matches I play were casual, and because no one's really playing this game on ranked, at least on the PS4 version anymore. But in casual play, I'm immediately putting the 75 hit combos, corner level 1 ultimate, or getting jumped by assist. Like bro, we're just playing for fun, you don't need to go this hard. And there's also the problem with people playing the same 3-4 characters over and over again. And anyone who's played fighters knows exactly what I'm talking about. We got UI Goku, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Vegito Blue, both Broly's and Gogeta Blue. I mean, I guess I could add GT Goku in there because of how much people use his small hitbox, but I don't really come across him that much online. Then there's also the problem where when you take out the best character on someone's team, they immediately rage quit because they're not good with any other character on their team. To which I say, what's the point of playing the fucking game if you're only gonna learn how to play one character? I just play the whole match through and then rage quit because it's funny at first making people rage quit, but after the next 10 times, it gets kind of annoying. Unfortunately, I didn't really run into it that much during this playthrough, so I can't really show off any footage here. The only character I would say that it gets annoying is Zamasu, not because the voice acting for him is bad, far from it actually. It's just that he just does not know when to shut the fuck up. Most characters' intros last for about like 10 seconds. His will last way longer than it should just because of how he's always talking. I mean, I know that's just how he's talking in the show, but when the other characters point out in the game, I feel like you went a little bit too far in that aspect.
So this guy used Patara too, huh? Is that why he won't shut the hell up? Jeez!
The highlights of the graphics for me personally are looking at the dramatic finishes. They're basically just like fatalities from Mortal Kombat, but they're lots of specific characters, and they're really faithful to the scenes that they're replicating. My personal favorite dramatic finish is Vegito vs. Zamasu.
I will not hear your cry! Can't be. A god losing to a mortal. This cannot happen. I am a god. I have justice given form. I am the world, the most noble, splendid, immortal, and supremely powerful god.
Man, shut your bitch.
But that's it. The longest marathon done so far is finally over. And no, even though the Crash Marathon was like, the quality boosting games were mostly like up here, quality with the Dragon Ball games are kind of like up and down all around. But to be completely honest, I had a lot of fun with it. I got to replay games I really loved. I was surprisingly surprised with other games. And then there's Ultimate Tenkaichi.